Hi there, welcome to Open Roads, a show where we take walks through open and transitional areas in games, doing a bit of sightseeing in a virtual tour of sorts. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We talk about all sorts of things here, mainly focusing on the smaller aspects of games and movies, celebrating the mundane and minute. As always, grab yourself a tea or a coffee and sit back as we explore together. Today we're here at the edge of the Pale, one of Skyrim's more ice-bound regions. Dawn breaks by Anger's Mill, where a family awakes to busy themselves chopping lumber. Falls nearby push a current that prevents their river from freezing entirely. But there are still spots on the edges where the cold earth claws within. I imagine these slabs of ice grow until they reach the stronger current, where they are shattered and pulled down into the rapids. You'd certainly want to be careful walking these paths. One tumble into the river wouldn't be ideal for your health. Though, should you brave the icy mist thrown up by the falls, there are fish mulling about beneath the surface, ripe for the catch. As we ascend into the mountains, we can spot roadside plant life, sprouting despite the climate, growing strong, roots ripping through the hard earth. Some even grow flowers, adding a splash of colour to the landscape. Others grow berries that we can pick to snack on as we continue. A hunter or fisherman has set up a camp here, a hide tent reinforced with stakes to keep it standing against the wind. Though even with a warm bedroll, I wouldn't want to be stuck out in these elements too long. Good thing they managed to get a fire roaring. I'd imagine they'd used flint or oil to assist in lighting it, for moisture has likely seeped deep within their firewood. They chose a nice spot in these shallows where the water slows. A family of mud crabs forage the rocks nearby, snacking on barnacles or unlucky fish, and giving the odd passerby a nip, I'm sure. They're fairly docile, and I was able to get quite close without aggravating them. They mustn't be very hungry, but we won't push our luck. Summiting into this valley, we can turn to take one last look at Windhell, the old city fading into the icy mists. We're in proper wilderness now. There's a distinct lack of trees by the river shore in the valley. Those we can see have been cracked or toppled. There may not be enough nutrients about, or the wind proves too strong, funneled through here by the wall of mountains. Here we come across our first indication of the ancient world. An old dragon burial mound, shrouded by a layer of snow. It's a lonely place, with nothing but the sound of chilling wind keeping company with the bones beneath. It feels as if there are eyes on us, and indeed, following smoke rising from above, we can spy a small bandit camp. They watch the roads with hungry eyes, perhaps hoping to catch a merchant unaware as they travel between Windhelm and Dawnstar. Though they had better watch their footing as they raced down the hill to attack. It would be quite embarrassing to slip and find yourself sliding down the icy incline. They must be fishing for bigger targets, for they didn't give us any bother as we passed. We'd better make a note of their location though, just in case. At last, we find some form of civilization, if only a small road sign, marking all the region's capitals. Nearby, we can find a cairn, a trail marker for the path towards Winterhold, perhaps, now formally replaced by the sign. A chill runs down the spine as we come past the mouth of a cave. Draconic monoliths rise above it, and a fire basin burns brightly out the front. Clearly, it is occupied. An old tomb, perhaps. Old things shift in the dark in these places. We'd do best to steer clear for now, though I wonder what kind of oddities lay within. Our path has almost been completely overtaken with snow now. One had better keep an eye out for landmarks and keep their map handy should it disappear completely. But there are other roads stamped into the earth through usage rather than civic planning. Here we can spy some dirt kicked up over time, not allowed to settle. Curiosity always gets the better of me, so of course, we're going to follow it. Arriving at an ancient tower that runs deep into the earth. A construction of the Dwemer. From here we can peer down over the valley, the countless trees and snowdrifts. The river's source presents itself, pouring out from the ground at the base of an old ruin. The edge of the snowline, tempting as ever, leads to the golden plains of Whiterun, towards warmth, home and hearth. But what explorers would we be if we didn't have to put up with discomfort from time to time? Though indeed, that inn in the distance does look very nice. To think that eons ago, ancient people saw this same view. The lands and mountains may have shifted a bit, but the overall visage would have been identical. Great bronze gates prevent us from entering the tower, but that might be for the best. For deep below are the shadowed halls of Blackreach, and I think I'd rather brave the snow. Instead, we can begin to make our way towards the inn, passing an interesting-looking shrine as we go. It seems someone was up to no good. Skulls, soul gems, conjuration potions, but no mage. That cave is nearby. Perhaps they delved within? Coming to the river's source, a shallow wetland interspersed with small islands, we can spot more signs of the ancient Dwemer. Old pipes still groaning as water and steam passes within, their purpose long forgotten. Perhaps the Dwemer themselves inadvertently created this river, the source sprouting from their waterworks beneath the earth, or the mechanical maze heating the basin with its exhaust, melting the permafrost. Despite their control of heavens and earth, nature has still reclaimed its power from the deep folk. This wetland has to be one of the most peaceful spots we've found yet. Isolated, yes, but the water lapping at the shores as it lazily passes us by brings about such a sense of quiet and content. The trees around cradle us, hiding these forgotten shores. A good place to forget about the woes of the world and just enjoy the scenery. Sadly, we must move on, climbing up from the wetlands to arrive at Nightgate Inn, an old tavern that sits by a small pond. This jetty indicates that it is a fishing spot, though I'm sure it is restricted. Cut off from the river, they would likely have to wait for the fish to breed and grow before thinking of catching. Some dry in the biting wind, alongside the nets used to trap them. It's no mystery what might be available on the menu. An old mammoth skull sits by the tavern sign. A trophy, perhaps, memorializing an old hunt. It's clear this is a place for hardy people. The giant hearth within is a welcome respite from the cold outside, though the place is anything but bustling. Just the owner, Hadring, and a few regulars. He seems a jolly fellow, welcoming travellers in from the roads. They seem to be his primary clientele. Unlike other inns, the Nightgate has an entire basement for storage and extra rooms. Being so isolated, it's smart to keep extra provisions should the weather or war cut off supply lines. I would worry about making a profit, though according to Hadring, the Orc Balagog, a long-time tenant, pays enough by himself to keep the place running. A mysterious man, to be sure. We can rent a room for the night, preferable over hunkering down in a dank cave or frosty bedroll. And though the room isn't much to ride home about, it is everything one could need. A nice hide bed with soft straw, a table to sit and read a book while sipping on mead, and some storage in case we had luggage. It's an early start in the morning, and though it is painful, we do have to say goodbye to the inn. From the rocky ridge we descend further into the valley, soon finding ourselves in a tundral forest. Visibility is low, and who knows what kind of things could hide among the trees. Indeed, nearby some half-buried ruins, we can spy a spriggan, watchful over its den. The deep woods here are a perfect habitat for it, so far from any civilization that could disturb it. It seems these woods are a place for things to be forgotten. Here, surrounded by cracked ruins, a statue of Talos stands lonely among the branches, a once sacred place buried under meters of snow. And though the lights and braziers are out, it still seems someone treks out here to make offerings, keeping this lantern lit in an act of defiance against time. We can re-link up with the road here. Probably the safer option if that Spriggan is anything to go by. As we round towards the coast, the wind picks up. The road passes through an old fort, Fort Dunstead, though a keen eye can spot that it has been taken over by bandits. They'll either want us to pay a toll or just outright rob us. Instead, we can go round the ridge to the west of the fort, hoping the rocks will hide us from their archers. Good thing the weather seems to have kept them confined to their stronghold. From atop, we can finally see our destination, the port town of Dawnstar, and beyond, the Sea of Ghosts. Having bypassed the fort, we can arrive at a strange geological site. A wall of mountain that has been blasted apart over the years, either by the wind, rain, or tectonic movement. Now the gap creates the perfect path towards Dawnstar. And just on the other side, we can come across the Hall of the Vigilant, a small headquarters for the Vigilants of Stendar. I'm sure they won't mind us taking a look around. Several are doing odd jobs around the property as we approach, chopping wood and using the tanning rack. They pay us no mind as we enter, clearly marking us as an ordinary traveller. Within is laid out like a church or chapel, a shrine to the god Stendar. Keeper Karset leads this outfit, sworn to combat Daedra and any other form of evil that may manifest. I'm sure the weapons fastened to their hips aren't just for show, and while I've not personally consorted with any Daedra, I can't help but feel them watch my every move. They have a pretty good setup here, with plenty of food and drink, an alchemy station to craft potions, and an armory downstairs where they store arms and armor. It's clear they're ready and able to fight any monster they might come across. Nice folk, but we have to move on. We'll have to come back later and do some interviews. I'm sure they're not going anywhere. We're on the home stretch now, out of the mountains and into clearer coastal air. The trees have thinned out and we can see the horizon again. The broken tower of Nightcaller Temple, a good landmark to follow. Giants camp along these plains, herding their mammoths along the drifts, hunkering down around their great bonfires. Luckily, they're hunkered away from the road, preventing us from accidentally wandering into their territory. I wouldn't want to be on the wrong end of those giant clubs, nor a charging mammoth. The quality of road soon improves, and stone walls guide us onwards to our destination. Eventually, the murmur of conversation fills the air. The sound of toil is carried by the wind. Hammers falling, pickaxes striking rock, and the groans and shudders of fishing vessels. We have arrived in Dawnstar, a small town of thatched roofs frozen by the ocean-bound winds. In the distance, great bergs float upon the water, continents themselves. I wonder what we can get up to. I hear a museum has opened up. That could be interesting. Thanks for coming on this walk. The Pale is often forgotten, being a frozen landscape filled with dangers around every corner. It's not the kind of location one seeks if they're after a simple exploration or grand views, but even it has its special places. As always, if there's any places or games you'd like us to explore, let us know in the comments. Shout out to our members, Dane Creosate, Anna A2640, Najkula, Renee, Patrick Connaughton 4171, Speed of the Earth, Nathan Armstrong 6085, Call Me Jibs, and Dadney. Subscribe for more oddities, odysseys, open roads, observations, opinions, and live streams over on Twitch. And we'll see you in the next one. Cheers!